This is a 1985 XR200R. It's a dual carb model we had picked up. It had been sitting in a barn for a few years. It's got spark. We've already done a carb clean, but now we just want to get it on video. So this is it.
And it's for sale as well. So if anybody just can't live without it. Probably one of the cleanest 200Rs that I've seen.
Alright, what are you going to do? Take off the seat first?
We're going to do the side panels, the seat, and the tank so we can get to the air box in the carb. So let's do that. Of course, the seat first. There's two bolts right underneath the fender, and that's all that holds the seat on. Pull up, slide back. And of course, side panels. One over here. When we get to the fuel tank, you just got to pop this one off. Shut the fuel off. Oh yeah. And one 8mm on each side. And that way we can get to the air box boot, and the carburetor and the linkage. Alright, here we go. We're going to remove the air box, which is a little bit of a booger because it is tucked in there pretty hard, but don't be scared to break it or anything because it is pretty tough. I'm going to start off by the 4 screws, 2 up here and then 1 on each side. And of course you're going to have a screw missing here and there if somebody else has got into it. That's the case here, so it's already took that screw off. The other side. That's the 4 screws right there. Now we just need to get the airbox out. That's where the trusty crowbar comes in. Insert it in here. Might need your help for this one. Here she comes.
Oh, you got it.
It does take a little bit, but she will come out though. Right here, this little corner. Hey. There she is. She ain't broke.
Yay.
I'm telling you, those are pretty tough to take out though. But if you don't take it out, you're going to fight that carburetor like you never believe. Now we got your linkage up here. And it does matter which one's the top and the bottom, because one's a send and one's a receive. So if you put them on backwards, you'll be twisting your throttle backwards. We'll put a T and a B. Just loosen the back nut. Leave the top nut alone, so it just goes right back to where it was at. And you reassemble it. Trying to hold the screw and move it so you can see it. It's kind of hard. There you go. And these will just come out their little holes. You know which one's top and which one's bottom, so I'm scared of that. So now that's loose. All I gotta do is pull the carb off, which are 2 more Phillips screws, one on each side. I'm trying to force these carburetors out with the airbox in place. You could damage the intake boots. Just hit my wife in the knee with this crowbar.
I'm okay.
Here we go. We just pry it out a little bit and just make sure it's loose, so it does come out. To get the carbs off the bike, you'll need a 14. Go ahead and take this bolt out and then tie this shock back with a couple of tie straps. Just run through the hole, use the frame of the bike and just pull it tight. That gives you enough room to pull the carbs out from in front of it. Oh, look at that. If you don't pull that shock back, well, good luck. Here they are out of the bike. One of the main things you got to worry about is these caps right here by the screws. If you can tell, there's some little hairline cracks right here by the screw, and you'll have to take care of those because those will be an air leak. And another thing, these are dual carbs. As you can see, one needle is higher than the other. I don't know if you can see that or not. And that just means it's dual stage carbs. It means there's one carb and two. So they don't work individually, they work together. This is kind of like your first carb. This will be the second carb. So from idle to mid-range is this carb. From mid-range to full is this carb. First thing I'm going to do is take the bowls off. Now keep in mind, I've already cleaned these carbs once, it's just now we want to videotape it. These carbs were pretty bad. Four screws to take the bowl off. Pull these little caps off, get them out of the way. And then you'll see your three jets. These are your two mains, and that's your idle jet. There's no jet in this hole. Like I said, this is just a second carburetor. Only works from mid-range to full. This is your idle jet. That's the one you need to be careful of. There she is. If you want your bike to run, this is the carb you need to clean, or this is the jet. Alright, next we're going to go ahead and take off these main jets. There are 6 anyway. What I do is get me a little container, put the jets in there. Use an 8 and take these other ones off. And take the floats out. Now most of the time when these carbs are really dirty, these won't come out. They'll be stuck in there. So the best thing to do is to get you some cutter type, dike type pliers and stick in there. Grab it and just turn it a little bit and then pull it out. And basically now all you got is a hollow body with the needle still in there. Now there are some air cutoff valves. Those generally you don't have to mess with. There's one on the inside and there's one on the outside, so you'd have to separate the carbs to get to that one. I wouldn't recommend it. Take your dish, use WD-40, just fill it up until it covers them, and let it set. Let them soak in. And of course, after you've done that, alright, this is your idle jet, so let's clean that one first. And if you look, I don't know if you can, there's holes right in the side here, and then there's going to be a hole right down the middle. The main thing is to clear these holes. You see the wire goes all the way through, of course, and the ones right below it, and then the two on the side. The hardest part is to work it through the middle. Don't force it, don't break it off in there. Just kind of ease it through there until you can get it to come out the other end. And then voila, there it is.
I'll work it back a couple of times just to make sure it's clear. Take your compressed air, which I got a hose on there, which works really well. Stick it on there. Make sure you pinch it, or
yeah, you don't want to lose it.
Or your jet's gonna end up next door in their yard somewhere. And just lightly hit the trigger. Don't go ape shit. You can see it's pushing all that WD-40 out that hole. That's it. And then the same with these here. These are your main jets. The same here. Got 5 holes here. And this will just make sure that you have even power throughout the throttle and it's just not jerky. And then of course the hole down the middle is huge, so it'll hardly ever get blocked. It's this little jet that you have to worry about. This is what gets you started. This is after you've already been started. So there's 2 of those. Do them the same way. And again, check down the middle and make sure there ain't nothing there. You can always run your compressed air. Pinch it before you lose it. Those are clean and ready to go. Can you see in it?
Yep. Oh, light's bright that way.
You can see how clean those are now, right?
Yeah.
Now I've taken a copper brush and actually brushed the outside of it and got it that shiny. They don't start out like that. It's gonna be like that color. So you can tell that I've cleaned it.
And you used a copper brush?
Yeah, copper, because these are brass and the copper won't destroy the finish on the brass.
Okay.
So we got our compressed air and we went through those. This is your main jet. You could actually stick it up to a light and see right through it. Probably can't on the camera. If you can see anything through there or not. Anyway, that's the most important part. When you stick your compressor with your little hose on there, you can actually put it to your face and you can feel a really short stream of air come out the end of here. So you can feel it. As long as you can feel it and you can see through it, well then you know your bike's going to start. And as long as these are clear, you'll know that you'll have smooth range throughout the throttle. And here are your top jets. These are actually the seats for the needle. And all of these are the same, so it don't matter what order you put them in or what carb you put them in, just as long as they're together like that. And again, when you put them on, run your compressed air through there, through the whole thing. Pinch it. If you put your finger on the end of it, it'll actually blow air out the little holes too to clear those as well. And don't go ape shit, just hit the trigger lightly. Sorry. Go in your mouth?
I think so.
Yeah, close your mouth. And then take your finger off, it'll go all the way through. There it is. That one's ready to go back in. Do the same to this one. finger on top, pinch it, and let your finger off. Great. All we have to do is slide these back on. Twist them in place. Use your 8. Do the bottom one. And don't over tighten all this stuff. It's just brass and cast aluminum. It's a 6. Okay, now the side that has the fuel inlet, that's going to be the one that has your main jet, or this idle jet, I'm sorry, idle jet. And a lot of times you'll find that flathead screwdriver is broke, and those things, you'll never get it out, but thank God this one hadn't been taken apart before. Just snug. Grab that alcohol.
Oh, let's see.
Alright, take you a little bit of rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip. Tight and run right inside those seats where the floats stick. And hold the thing upside down so the alcohol don't run through the inlets, but that'll clean all that gum out of there, so you make sure that the needle seat turns the gas off. Take a dry one and clean it, dry it out. Pop your float back in there. Put the pins in. Turn them upside down and make sure that the floats come down and the needles come down with them. You see them?
Okay.
So those are freely moving. Put your bowls back on. Make sure your bowls are clean, but like I said, I've already cleaned these out before, so it's just a matter of getting your copper brush and getting in there and cleaning it out. I just love those magnetized screwdrivers. Work with gloves, keep your hands clean, keep your work area clean, and use compressed air and just keep it clean. Don't over tighten these, jeez. That's pretty much it. You can hear the floats jump up and down. And like I said, just put a little sealer over those cracks right there. And she's ready to be put back on.